Hi, hello, welcome to Yoga with Jantien. My name is Jantien, and today we're going to do another relax yoga stream, which means that you can make yourself as comfy as you like. As you see, I'm not using a mat today, I have a rug. I have a mat underneath to make it more soft, so that's what you can do as well. And you can get a blanket, or if you have a bolster, yoga roll, or a big towel, something you can roll into something a little bit squishy. And then we're gonna get started, so let's go. Okay, first of all, we're gonna start sitting down. And as always, try to make this posture something comfortable as well. So in relax yoga, it's all about getting ourselves relax for a moment. Okay, so this is your time, this is your moment. Make sure that you can sit easy in any posture you like, and you can always use a chair. You know, if this is uncomfortable, just take your chair and try to find out what feels good today. And I know I say that a lot, but it's very important because it's not about rules. It's not about doing this right or doing this wrong if you were sitting different than I do. It's about getting to know your body and listening to it and finding this cozy moment here. So close your eyes, and if you keep them open, try to focus on one point, something that doesn't move, that doesn't particularly interest you, so that you can keep your concentration to yourself. That's nice to keep the focus on your body. You can take a few deep, slow inhalations and exhalations. If you found your seating position, try to relax in this posture. So you feel like you are sinking into the floor with your legs, with your sitting bones, your bum. You're sinking into your chair, your cushion. And try to be aware of what you're feeling. How are you sitting? What does it do to your body? Is it really comfortable, or are you still pushing yourself into something you think you should be able to do? So relax yoga, yoga overall, but especially here we have a focus on acceptance. The acceptance of the way our body, and that's personally, moves, reacts, what it wants, what it likes. Just a few more breaths here before we get started, just to get settled in. And try to relax your face, or you can always smile. Smiling really activates those happy hormones. And even if you're not really happy right now, if you're not particularly feeling good, smiling helps. Just small, soft smile towards yourself, just for being here, just for sitting on your yoga mat and taking the time just for you. And I'm going to roll the head, so we always try to feel the neck first. Feel the head, and you can roll the head all the way up and down. Or you can just move ears from side to side. Actually moving the head, just the ears would be quite a challenge. And again, try to find your movement here. Whatever feels comfy. Try not to pressure the neck too much. So if you let the head hang backwards, you pressure the neck, which is not particularly comfortable. So try to stretch out with the chin to the front if you really want to stretch the throat area. And you can always let the head hang down or actively pull the chin in towards the chest, just to see if it's good for you to stretch the neck. And you usually feel that, right? It's not something you need to know. You feel, you can trust your body. It will tell you if it's okay or not. And you can wiggle a little bit with your upper body from side to side. Just keep the hands relaxed wherever they are. Maybe they're in your lap, hanging by the sides. It's all good. We're just moving here. Maybe you even have music on. You can slowly wave on the music. And maybe you hear the wind outside, or birds, or trees. Maybe it's just really quiet where you are, and you can just move to your own rhythm. Anything you want. Just try to find a soft movement in the upper body. And you can also go from back to front, or just in a small circle. You can only move the shoulders if you feel like it. Anything that is necessary to loosen up a little bit. You can bring the hands back to the knees, and if you are in a chair, you can come to the floor, pull the knees out a little bit, and place the soles of the feet together. Okay, so we're going into butterfly here. You can either pull your feet a little bit more towards yourself, so you can hold your toes. If that's too much, you can hold your ankles, or you can place your hands behind you. Anything is good, okay? Try not to pull too much on the shoulders and the neck. So if you're holding your toes, make sure the shoulder area is nice and loose, okay? And we're just gonna wiggle. We're just gonna butterfly. We're gonna take off our yoga mat and fly around the block a little bit. And then we're just gonna land back here in a few moments. Again, try to take deep breaths, relax the belly. It's a nice view from here when you're flying. Yeah, really good. Weather's nice, perfect. Enjoying this already. Okay. We're just gonna land back on our yoga mat. So relax back. And you can hold your toes again or ankles. And then we can round the back. So from the hips, you can come forward, bend the elbows outwards. You can slightly hold your feet. Don't try to push yourself or pull yourself, just hold them loosely. Elbows out, you can make a straight back. And then pull the chin in and round the back actively. So you pull the navel back up and the chin to the chest. And if you're all the way down, you can relax a little bit in this posture. Try to keep the elbows out or resting a little bit on, maybe they're resting on the lower legs. Keep breathing. And then pull yourself up from this round back. So rounding still all the way up. And then lift the chest, lift the sternum, making a hollow back. And here you can still hold your toes, or you can place your hands behind you and just stretch out. Hollow the back. So you bring the belly and the chest forward, and if you want to stretch out, then raise your chin up all the way to the front. And we're going back to a round back. So you hold the toes or the ankles, elbows go outwards. Try to make a long back when you're all the way down. So when you feel like you're kind of stuck somewhere, pull the navel in, chin towards the chest. I'm going to make a round back here. And then relax when you're at your lowest point. Relax the hands, relax the shoulders. Take a deep breath. And relax. One more time up. So you want to pull yourself up with a round back. So you keep the chin towards the chest all the way until you're all the way up. And decide where you want to place your hands and open up. Keep breathing. Try to relax the belly. The breath can go down. And relax. Very good. If you want, you can stretch out your legs for a moment. So this can be very intense for the groin, for the hips. And that's okay. Just try to find what is okay. And if it gets too much, just keep the knees up a bit higher, or you can support the knees, okay? So if the knees are right here, and it's too much, you can also let them keep here, or support the knees with blocks, books, cushions, anything that keeps the tension of the groin a little bit. Okay. From here we're gonna stretch our left leg out. You can bring the right foot in a little bit more. And again, if you feel like you're kind of falling backwards, lift yourself a little bit, okay? So you're going to bring something under the hips to sit on, just to make sure that you're comfortable enough here. Okay. From here, bring the left hand onto the right knee, and you can bring the right hand all the way behind you, just as far as you like. Try to keep the left toes active, and we're going to make a slight twist. You can make a very light twist, right? You can keep the hands here, you can keep the hands here and just slightly twist. This is a full twist here, but still try to keep it soft. So try to keep the spine long in one line, neck in one line, relax the shoulders, and just breathe. You're doing great here. Okay. You can keep the left hand on the right knee, or you can bring the left hand all the way to the left knee, whatever feels good for you in the next pose. Lift the right hand, and then we're going to bend over towards the left. Okay. If you want, you can look up, or just look towards the front. Try to keep the head in line with the spine, so don't let the head fall, okay? Keep it up. Keep breathing. You breathe in, come back up, and breathe out, relax. 2 hands back to the floor. We're gonna change sides. Okay, so left leg in, right leg out. And if the right heel is on the floor, if it's not on the mat anymore, you can just switch. You can twist a little bit. So your right leg is in line with the mat, okay? So you just pull the left in. Make sure though that the hips are facing the front, so you open up. Okay. Again, we're going to bring the right hand towards the left knee. Left hand all the way back as far as you like. And when you found your posture, try to relax. Deeply in and fully out. Keep the shoulders low, so you try to push them a little bit away from the ears. If you pull them out, you kind of tense the muscles in the shoulders and in the neck area. And they're already very sensitive for most people. So it's really good to actively push them down a little bit to lengthen those muscles instead of keeping them short. Okay. We're going to keep the right hand on the left knee. With the left hand all the way over towards the right, as far as you like. And you might notice that there is a difference in left and right. That's perfectly fine. It has everything to do with the back and with the hips. And it's very rare that someone is really symmetrical. So it's really funny for yourself to find out how your sides change and what the differences are in different poses. Okay. Just keep breathing here. A few more breaths. Try to keep the right toes active. And when you breathe in, come all the way up. Breathe out, relax. Okay, very good. You can bring both of your feet towards the front. And again, you can either use your blanket to sit on if you feel like you need a little bit of a lift that it weighs easier. You kind of already fall forward that way. We're going to do a forward fold. And you can generously bend the knees first, as much as you need to grab a hold of your big toe. Okay, so with your index finger and your middle finger, you grab a hold of the big toe. Yes, there we go. Don't try to push the toe or pull the toe towards you. Just let it, let it easy, not too tight. You can hold the whole foot if you want. Okay, so you just grab the outsides of your feet. Both is fine. And then try to relax the belly and the head over the legs. Okay. Relax the shoulder area, the neck, the upper back. But from here, if you want, you can slightly choose Stretch your legs, only if it feels good. So don't make it into a deep stretch. It can be very hard on the hamstrings, on the lower back, the inside of the knees. So be very mindful here. Very mindful of the body. What do you feel? So keep the focus on yourself. And keep that breathing up. The breathing is very important. If you stop breathing, or you're going to hold your breath, or you're going to be irregular, the body tenses up. And we want it to relax, so therefore it's very important that the breathing is relaxed as well. Maybe after a few breaths you feel like, oh, this is too much, then you bring the knees up a little bit. And maybe you feel like, oh, I got a little bit more room to stretch, and it feels really good to stretch this. And you just stretch them out a little bit more. Just a little while longer in this pose. So we're also stretching the lower back here and the hamstrings, like I said. Very tight muscles with most people. Very thick muscles there in the back and hamstrings. Also the glutes. So they need a little bit of time to stretch. And if you do it really softly here, you also stretch or soften the fascia and the ligaments and the tendons and the white tissue. But they need a very soft approach because it's very tough tissue. Okay. Release the feet or release the hands. Place them on both sides of your legs and push yourself up. So we're not pulling from the back. We're just going to push ourselves up. Keep breathing and relax when you're all the way up. You can place your hands on your legs if you want. And just take a moment here. Try to keep the legs a little bit active. If you keep them active, it's easier to sit up straight, to keep the back long. A few more breaths. Relax the shoulders. So it's also a practice in focus areas. Can you just activate your legs just enough to sit up straight? Can you activate the belly muscles just enough to sit up straight? And relax the shoulders, relax the lower back, relax the arms. In Hatha Yoga we try to evenly divide our strength, and in Relax Yoga we can work with target areas. So it's a very different approach. One more breath here. And then you can come off your blankie, if you're on one, like I am. Oh, I love that extra little lift. We're going to come onto our bellies. So take your time getting onto the belly. I just need to check my mic, yes. I'm going to put my weight on it. It's a very different sound. Not really what we're looking for. Okay. We're going to go into Sphinx pose. So we're doing Sphinx pose a lot as well. It's very, very good for the lower back. As long as you can relax. There we go. So if this is too much, if the pressure on the lower back is too much, lying like this, bring the hands forward. Keep the elbows as shoulder wide. So not too much open towards the side, because they are hanging in, you're getting the ligaments and the tendons in the elbow. So keep them strong, in line with the shoulders, which is closer together than you might think. And keep on breathing. Now if you have a lot of space, like if you feel in the Sphinx pose that you could use a bit more pressure on the lower back, bring the hands out, bring the elbows up, shoulders down into seal. Keep on breathing. And I feel for me today it's too much. The lower back is a little bit tight today, so I'm going to keep it at Sphinx. But always in this pose as well, make it your own. Try different things and see where you end up today. Might be different from yesterday, tomorrow might be different as well. And you can accept anything that happens. Just enjoy. One more breath here. And then we're going to go all the way to child's pose. Walk yourself back up, bring the hips up. Walk yourself all the way back with the hands and the elbows. Bring the hips over the heels. And then you can just bring the hands out in front of you. Relax the head onto the floor. Or if you like, you slide the hands back all the way alongside the body. Make sure there's not too much weight on the head. So if you feel like the hands are backwards, that there's a lot of weight in the forehead, bring the hands to the front and you bring some weight onto the hands, okay? So you make it more of an extended child's pose, but you can also do with your knees a little bit wider apart and just keeping your arms stretched out. Everything else is uncomfortable, bring the head onto the hands or onto a block. Child's pose is a very soft and very safe pose. It's very natural, important. It's a very natural position for us. It's a fetal position, so it can give you a lot of safety, a lot of rest. So if you feel anxious or panicked, try this child's pose and try to find different ways of exercising this child's pose and try to see what works the best for you. For now, just try to keep breathing into the belly. You might feel if you have your knees together that you breathe more into the back. And the breath goes more upwards towards the spine, pushing the ribs on the back, on the sides, not so much in the belly maybe. One more breath here. And then we're going to come onto all fours. Hairs everywhere. Curl the toes under. And again, bring the weight towards the heels, okay? And then we're slowly are going to place the crown of our head onto the ground. So you pull the chin in towards the chest, so the crown of the head is on the floor. Keep the weight as much on the knees and the feet as possible, so the head is just touching the ground. There's not too much weight on the head. Then you can bring the hands all the way up and you can keep them stretched out, or you can interlace the fingers and bring the shoulder blades together. Maybe you feel you can stretch out a little bit more, a little bit less. It's all good. Keep breathing. And just a few more breaths here. It's really weird with my head like this. And slowly release the hands. Place the hands onto the floor and then you can roll a little bit. So you can roll over the top of your head. Again, not with weight. So release your weight onto your hands. So place your hands a little bit on both sides of your head. So you can softly roll the top of your head, seat of consciousness, over the floor. A lot of nerves ending there, a lot of things happening in the top of the head. So it's a very sensitive area. You just want to massage it a little bit over the floor. That's all you want to do. Nothing more than that. Mindful of the neck. And when you're done, just place the tops of the feet back on the floor. Come back to child's pose for a moment. And find your breath again. So if you feel you're a little out of breath or the exercise was intense and you were holding your breath, try to find it back again. Slowly in, slowly out. Just a few more moments here. And again, you can place your hands on the floor and roll yourself back up. You can bring the arms alongside, so you stretch out the arms, make a long stretch. Reach for that ceiling, reach for the sky. Deep inhale, and when you breathe out, just lower the hands all the way down. That was nice. We're going to do that a few times. So in your own rhythm, when you breathe in, bring the arms all the way up. Keep breathing. If you want to look up, you can look up. Careful of the neck. Otherwise, just keep your gaze in front of you. And when you breathe out, all the way down. So you can keep the hands up a few breaths. Don't hold your breath, okay? You just use the inhale to bring the energy upwards and stay there for a few moments. Release the belly muscles if you keep them very tense. Don't worry, you'll stay seated. And in your next exhalation, lower them back down. Very good, very good. Okay. You can bring the arms halfway, shoulder height. And we're just going to move a little bit. One goes up and one goes down. Okay, so if the right arm goes up, the left one goes down, hands go somewhere behind the head or behind the back. So when you breathe in, long arms, and when you breathe out, bring them behind you. Keep the elbows back. So try not to round the back, keep an open chest. It's weird that we say that, right? Because we don't really open the chest. That will be really bad, ambulances, blood and stuff, so bad idea. We're keeping the chest up, we're keeping the sternum up, so you open this area for space to breathe. Anywhere you are right now, whichever arm is up, you can keep it like that. Again, try to bring the elbows back, and if this is too much, bring the hands a little bit wider apart, so one goes on the lower back and one goes on top of the head. On top of the head. And you can keep it like that. So it doesn't really matter how close the hands are. It really matters that you keep the shoulders back. And you do that by bringing the shoulder blades together, which automatically already happens in this pose, and by bringing the elbows also to the back. One more breath here. You breathe in, long arms, and when you breathe out, other side. Very good. And again, here you might feel there's a big difference between left and right, whichever arm is up and down. And slowly in an exhalation, so if you feel the need to yawn or to side, please do so. It only helps the body relax, so it's very good. One more breath in, long arms. And when we breathe out, I'm just going to change a little bit, but you can just stay where you are. When we breathe out, we're going to bring the hands onto the floor, elbows onto the floor, into child's pose. But before we go all the way down, we're going to bring our hands together in Namaste. And we're going to lower the head between the elbows, and we're going to bring our hands on top of our head. And I've heard this pose is called shark fin. It's like a shark fin. I'm just swimming. I'm just swimming. It's actually quite nice to rock yourself a little bit, pretending to swim like a shark. And if you want to be a very still shark, you can also do so. Again, as we always say, try a few things, see what feels good for you right now, and just accept where you are. Just accept where you are. Okay. And find that relaxation in the breath, in the body.
And give yourself permission to just let it go. Every bit of tension, every bit of resistance against your own body or against your thoughts, resistance against the pose we're in, just let it go. And keep breathing. Every time you breathe out, you can let a little bit of that BS go. And feel how light you are at the end. From here, place the hands back on the floor. Roll yourself up slightly. We're going to Shavasana. So you can just walk yourself out long onto the belly. And from there, you can roll over towards the back. Take your time. If you want to use your your blanket as a cushion, you can always do so. You can bring it under the knees. It's nicer for you to keep the knees slightly lifted. When you lay on the back, it can be very nice for the lower back. You can place something under the knees to keep them bent. You can walk the feet outwards, hands outwards or on the belly. You can bring your chin towards your chest, lift your head slightly, and then place the head on the floor. So you have a long neck. You can roll your shoulder blades under, so you bring the shoulder blades a little bit together and downwards. And then if you have your hands open, you feel that you create space. You create space in the chest area, more relaxation in the shoulders. And take a moment here. And really try to let all that tension you might have go. Okay, so if it's difficult for you to relax, take a few deep in exhalations. Or just shake it off a little bit, you can always just wiggle the body. Sometimes it's easier afterwards to just feel the muscles relax. Shavasana is a very letting go pose, pose. It's about surrender. You surrender to gravity, you surrender to the floor, to your body, to the breath. There's nothing you need to control here. So just relax and enjoy that surrender, that acceptance in this pose, with the knowledge that there's nothing you need to improve right here. Just keep staying in this pose for a few more breaths. Slowly and softly you can make small movements if you want with your feet, with your hands, the wrists or the ankles, just very soft, just so that you feel your body. Maybe you want to roll your head from side to side. Maybe you want to stretch yourself all the way out. Heel on again, or side again. Anything that feels good. And then we're going to roll onto our side. Preferably the right side, but left is fine too. If you can roll onto your right side, it's very nice for the body. There's a little bit less pressure on the chest area, on the heart area. And apparently also on the way of the bloodstream. Okay. Come back to a seating position. Place your hands anywhere you like. Again, whatever pose is good for you. Use your chair if you don't want to sit on the floor. And as always, we try to take a little moment of reflection. You can see it as miniature meditation if you want, where you just try to observe what you feel and what you think, what emotions might come up.
But we always try to be very, very not opinionated, non-judgmental, very open to whatever comes up. Again, not with the desire to change anything or to improve anything, or to label something good or bad or fine or not fine, whatever. Just to reflect, just to be open, to observe what happens in your body after the asanas, what happens in the mind, and how does that affect your mood, your emotions. And just take a moment for that. Trust your video, trust me, we're still here, just giving you a moment. You can bring your hands in front of your heart, in front of your sternum. Lift up if you were kind of sunken back down. So you bring the sternum up, shoulders down, head in line with the spine, and you can smile. Give yourself some time to pay attention, to be aware and mindful of your body, of your breath, and of your soul. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me on this yoga journey. If you have any comments, if there's something you'd like to share with me or with us, please, you can always just leave something in the comments. And if you have any requests for another video, please let me know, because it's always welcome to have suggestions. Otherwise, I hope to see you next time, and have a good day or night if you're doing this at night time. It's very nice to do this before bed, by the way. Okay, just hopping there. Goodbye, guys.